Hello and welcome to the More Cheese, Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we're talking with Ben Dykstra. And Ben is from Seattle, and would you believe it, he is a woodworker. I mean, what are the odds that last week's episode we were talking with someone who's written a book called the Six Figure Woodworker, and then the very next episode we have someone who actually is a woodworker from Seattle. And we had a really great conversation. I mean, Ben specializes in building bunk beds, and what we did was spend an hour having one of the most creative conversations that I think we've ever had on More Cheese, Less Whiskers. We talked all about not only some ways to immediately improve the results that he's getting marketing his existing bunk bed business, but some really creative ways that open up some new higher end market opportunities for him within the bunk bed market, especially taking into consideration where he is in Seattle and his market there. So I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Here we go. Mr. Dykstra.
Hello, Mr. Dean Jackson.
How are you, sir?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm good. So, you know what's funny is I recorded a podcast earlier today with a gentleman who has a book called The Six Figure Woodworker.
Oh, really?
And now,
okay,
yeah, which is kind of funny. And now here we are talking to Ben Dykstra. So,
yep.
Tell me what's up with you.
Okay. Well, just really excited to be able to talk to you, Dean. Been listening to I Love Marketing for a long time, since basically the beginning, and More Cheese, Less Whiskers as well.
Love it.
And so I've been a woodworker for almost 25 years now. Started working with my dad, who had a stair manufacturing business in Colorado.
Oh, nice.
And so really loved woodworking, got into it, and started making my own custom furniture, started getting commissioned for different pieces, and then went off on my own in about 2004, in my own business. And I've been doing everything from, custom tables, cabinets, and, all across the board when it comes to woodworking. And lately, I have been doing a lot of kids' bunk beds, which started about 6 years ago when I first built a bed for my kids. They needed a bunk bed. And so I've designed a real simple, basic, really secure, safe bunk bed for kids. So for the last 6 years, that's been about 70% of the work I do. The other part is cabinetry and other custom furniture. So what I've been wanting to do is start selling plans, and which I've got those all drawn up. There's a couple avenues I'd like to maybe look at. One is to sell the plans, which there's a lot of free plans out there for bunk beds. But another great business idea would be to help other woodworkers start a bunk bed business in their own city, basically, or their own locality wherever they live. So I think that's kind of the avenue.
Because of the size of it, is bunk beds building a localized, like you're doing custom installs, like locally? You're not shipping bunk beds across the country, or?
Correct. Yeah, I have shipped bunk beds across the country, but it's pretty expensive. So not everybody's wanting to do that. So my local area here in Seattle, I live actually just across the water on Bainbridge Island, where my shop is.
Nice.
And I do all my work basically over in Seattle. So that's my market. Yeah.
And so when you're building bunk beds like that, are you building them to are they custom bunk beds, like to fit a specific area, or what makes your bunk beds special?
Okay. Most of my beds are a standard bunk bed. So people go to visit my site and they pick out a certain size, and I build it to order, and then I deliver it and set it up. But they are standard. I do custom work as well, but most of the bunk beds that I build are just standard.
Okay, and how does that differ then from, say, bunk beds they could get at a furniture store kind of thing, if they went into a furniture store to find bunk beds? Yeah.
So the feedback I get from my customers is they love that I'm a local builder, that I'm a local craftsman building these beds specifically just for them. The beds are way sturdier and safer than other beds that you find at local stores. Typically, those are kind of imported, not built with the greatest material, and so they're falling apart. They're wiggly. So kind of scary, actually. What's out there.
I get it. And then, do you do anything? Do you have some? Would you say they fit in the, kind of standard bunk bed pricing model, or would you say they are luxury bunk beds, or?
My beds.
Where would you put it?
My standard beds are more of a mid-range. They're not the least expensive, but they're not super expensive unless they want something custom. Then the price definitely goes up. But
I gotcha.
Very good. It's an affordable bunk bed. I build it with materials that aren't too expensive, but strong materials. So I saw one. I saw it in a magazine somewhere. There was a house wall that had they had 6 bunks on the wall. Like, it was all kind of built right into the wall. As kind of a, it was for like a grandkids kind of room. It was a luxury vacation home that somebody had built, and they put 6 bunk beds on the wall, in this place, and it was an interesting look, because that kept, they had a room, kind of like a sitting or room in the room, but then these 6 bunks up against the wall. The whole wall was like a bunk, but it had stairs going up to the second and third bunk kind of thing. It's fun. Right. Yep. Yeah.
So your mission then is really you just like to get more bunk bed business then. Is that what you're saying? That you want to kind of ramp that up by 50% or so?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily. I think I'm pretty busy as it is. With orders, but what I'm liking to do is I can't just do this forever. I'm going to be hiring more people to help me, or do something where it's a product that I've made it once, like it's a course or something that people can take to learn how to start their own business. And then, so it's basically, something on the side that I can do, that I know how to run a bunk bed business. All the plans are all set.
So walk me through a bunk bed. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. So walk me through the bunk bed business, what you've learned. Like, if we were kind of narrating it, like we're on how it's made, how would the bunk bed business work as an entity kind of thing? What do you, how do you select your target market, and how do you get them to raise their hand? Have you got kind of an organized way of doing that, or are you picking up really on the during unit operational level of how to run a bunk bed business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is from the beginning. So,
okay.
My target market is families, younger families with young kids, needing a little more space, and it's on the families that I work with are upper income families, and so what I've done is the best ad that I've made is actually on a Craigslist ad that I've created, and so it's free. It's worked really well. I haven't done any other advertisement. Now I've had my business going for 6 years, so organically on Google I'm being found. If people are typing in bunk bed Seattle, I'm popping up pretty quick there. So they'll find me that way. They're looking for a local, good, solid bunk bed maker. So from there they'll contact me through my contact form. We'll email back and forth a little bit if I have any questions for them, and they'll place an order, and then they get on the schedule, and each bed is built to order, and then I bring it out, deliver it, and get paid from there. So, it's a pretty smooth process. Again, it's families that are just looking to find a better product, and they love that it's a local person. So,
and what would be the price range of the bunk beds that you make?
Yeah, they start at about $800 and can go up to $2,200 around there, depending on if there is customization or I've got accessories that they can add, like underbed drawers, ladders, shelves, bookcases, things like that. So, but that's the price range.
I gotcha. And so your plans and stuff, have you kind of gotten to where they're kind of modular add-ins, where like the, you basically have the basic framework, and then they can add drawers or add the ladder, or add other elements to it?
Yeah, that's correct.
They're just kind of picking it up. So you're not making like custom, you're not having to go to the drawing board kind of thing and make custom ones. You're going from your standard plans.
Exactly.
And building it up with options. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I prefer to do. Custom work is tricky. You just don't know what you're going to fall into. So I love having the standard bed. And
the great thing is you can train other people to do that kind of thing too, right?
Exactly.
And so I imagine that the market for it, even in Seattle, is bigger than you can actually accommodate. You would have to scale up a little bit, right? For doing it. Cool. And then how much are you happy to pay to acquire one? Like when you're, if you're doing, have you got anything that you can, aside from the Craigslist ad, have you got a way to turn money into new bunk bed business?
Yeah, no, I haven't done any other type of advertisement, but so I'm not really sure what I would be willing to pay. I mean, that's just something that I haven't tested out.
And there's the thing, like when somebody's coming in, right? Like if you're going to have a model that is that you're going to teach other people, kind of thing, what they're coming into it is they can't come into it with your lifetime reputation and track record, if in their market. That's something that you have that somebody really can't kind of replicate, right? They're not coming up as the top thing in Google when people are typing bunk beds. So what you have to kind of look at is what would you do coming into a new market where you don't have those advantages, and that becomes then a business system that you have. Because right now your pricing, it sounds like, is based on your actual cost of doing it and the cost of materials and your built-in profit margin. And if you had to have a cost of acquiring the new customer, that would come out of your profit. That would just lower your profit margin, right?
Yes.
Right. All right. And so if you were to just look at it right now, and sometimes it's even just, it may require an adjustment in the price to accommodate, to create the ability to be able to find people, like when you look at the way your pricing model works, if you were to get, let's say on average it's $1,500 if it's right in the middle of the range, that your the things that you described to me don't cost you anything to get that client. So what, based on what you know now, what would you cheerfully pay if I said, hey, I can deliver you 10 new, people who want to get bunk beds, kind of thing. If you had that consistency, if you could push a button and say, listen, I want to get, I want to do 2 new bunk bed clients a week, 100 bunk beds a year, and I would cheerfully pay, how much to make that happen.
Yeah, I would pay. Yeah, I'd be happy to pay like $50, I guess, per lead, maybe even more. I don't know. Is there something, a certain percentage that is kind of normal?
Well, that's where, like in any kind of, it depends, right? Like in all industries, it's very different depending on the cost of goods and the time involved and the profit margins.
Right.
Like in some industries, like in the real estate industry, there's kind of an established protocol for real estate agents referring business to other real estate agents, where they would pay a 25 or 30% referral fee. So that's kind of established, that's the benchmark that I use for people when we start talking about doing an advertising program to find new business, is to set it up that, well, it's already established that you would pay somebody 25% of the sale. So if we could do it for 10% or less, kind of thing, that would be that you would be happy to do that. So if you think that if you had a budget of, say, $150 built into the cost of doing the bunk beds, that you could then run Facebook ads or a local newspaper ads or postcards or things to get in front of the right people in a local market that could introduce you to the right people, so that they can see what you do and decide that they want to have you build bunk beds for them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And so have you ever done any, well, tell me about your Craigslist ad, what you do on that, because that's something that's certainly repeatable, and does it work Yeah. Does it work repeatedly? Yeah. How? Okay, tell me about
that. It actually works great. So what I figured is families that are looking for bunk beds, basically the first place they're going to go is Craigslist, because they're going to try to find a used bunk bed, possibly, and so they'll be scrolling through and they'll run across my ad actually for bunk beds, for new bunk beds, and I've got a pretty compelling headline, which says looking for a safe, affordable, sturdy bunk bed, and it kind of goes through a little bit of my story, and then pictures to go along with it. So and that leads them to my website from there. So that's why I've stuck with the Craigslist ad, because it seems to me like it's the first place where my customers are going.
And that's great. And so that brings, how much of your business would you say comes from that process? How often do you run the ad?
Yeah, I'm renewing my ad every couple of days. I could probably actually create some more ads and keep, I could probably up that a little bit. But yeah, so every 2 days I'm just renewing it and reposting it. Okay.
And so how many bunk beds do you think you've done, or how often does that pay off for you? Like, you're saying that you're doing, how many bunk beds are you building?
Yeah, well, I've built hundreds of bunk beds, but I'm averaging a little over one per week.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like 1.5 bunk beds a week.
Yeah.
So, that's basically my output.
Okay.
If I was doing it solid and not doing other projects, it'd probably be closer to 2. But, so they go together pretty quick. I've got a great process down for building all the parts, and then how to assemble it. So so that's basically it.
And so, but what I was wondering is how many of the bunk beds that you do get would come from that process? Like, would you say that
from
that's
Craigslist?
Yeah, is that 50% of your business?
I would say at least 50%. It's probably a little higher.
Okay.
Yeah, when I ask, I'd probably say it's about 70%.
Okay, so most of it is Craigslist. Wow.
Yeah, and then people are just finding me organically through Google.
Yeah. I love it. Okay. So that's pretty, that's a pretty good, repeatable model there. And the good thing about Craigslist, of course, is that the only reason people are going there is with an intention to buy something. Nobody's going just to kind of browse. It's not the same as, Facebook, where you're showing up in their news stream. But that could work for you as well, because you get the chance there. Well, I'd love to, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But when people do the bunk beds, do you have anything in the during unit and the after unit that you're doing to orchestrate referrals or to get new business after, on the back of doing the bunk beds for somebody?
Yeah, I have in the past done stuff, but not as much anymore. People will typically just refer me. They'll automatically say we love the beds, and we have some friends that also have kids that I need a bunk bed. So it's a pretty as far as referrals, I'm always getting those anyway. But I haven't. But they'll say they'll refer, but I can't say that I've had a ton of people come from friends and of of those that have ordered the bunk beds.
Right.
But what I used to do, and I've not done a great job of this lately, but after the bed is built, I will send a kind of a overall, what did you think about the process survey, along with some, I'll just throw in some like stickers for the kids or whatever. And I always get great results back from that. So I've got a lot of really good testimonials and such. And so, yeah, I've got a ton of letters, but not, I've kind of stopped doing that just because I've been too busy to send them out.
Right, exactly. And it's kind of an interesting thing, when you start to look at that there's a difference between everybody saying, oh, yeah, we'll tell everybody about you kind of thing. But then the reality of that there's not a lot of the business that is actually coming because people are telling their friends.
Yeah.
So it's not translating, right? It's not translating into more business. So there might be some opportunity to orchestrate that more, Do you have, there was something that was interesting about what you said earlier about organic, and people find your website and then they contact you through your contact form. Are there any offers on your website that would be something that somebody could download, in exchange for their name and their email? Like, do you have a catalog or which might be a catalog and pricing guide? Like, I bet if you put that on your thing, with a hero shot of the cover of your catalog with a beautiful, finished bunk beds, and you had that, the 2018 bunk bed idea book and pricing guide, and people could leave their name and their email address to get that.
Yeah. I love that idea, and I don't have anything like that right now.
Okay.
I have been toying around with doing something like that, just to get people interested. And so the pricing guide, would that show prices of my beds, or would it be kind of a comparison guide?
I think it could be both, right? Like, I think you could show, I think it could be anything. It would be, imagine that somebody showed up at your shop and said, hey, I'm interested in bunk beds. And you could say, well, let me show you how it all works and what we've got. And you've got the opportunity to say, here's what we do. Here's what makes our bunk beds different. Here's the styles of bunk beds that we have. Here's the accessories that we can add on to that. Here's our history of making bunk beds. Here's some pictures of happy people in their bunk beds. Here's some testimonials from people that we've built. Here's the prices. Here's the process. That would be a really great sales consultation in a PDF.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I
with
love
the
that
modern,
idea.
Yeah, with the modern PDFs, I mean, you could even integrate into that some video or some links, or and order form or whatever. That kind of because I bet that for every person that fills out your contact you form, because they're kind of, the only reason it seems like they would fill that out is because they're pretty serious and close to it, that there's probably a much bigger number of people who come to your site and don't fill out the contact form. They're just kind of coming and getting the lay of the land. And this would
they're just browsing and
And I think this would be a really great way for you to increase the number of people that, correspond with you through your website.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Uh-huh.
Yep. But there's so many people that come to my site, browse, kind of just take a look around, but aren't. And it's just, that's what's great about that is it's easy for them to download it and not have to call me or email me with questions. It's a lot. It's all kind of there. Yeah. That's a little bit thing about my process. It's a little bit clunky where I don't have where you can just order off of my website. Now I'm going to be changing that pretty soon, where they will be able to order more of an e-commerce site. But right now,
we just want to make it super easy for them.
Make it really easier.
That's really
more
the
cheese.
thing. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're on the right track. But that way too, you don't have to constantly update your website. You've got the spring 2018 bunk bed idea book and pricing guide. That then goes into the summer or the fall. That way it's the sense whenever you update anything or you update your prices, you're just updating the PDF. You don't have to go through changing your website and everything,
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really good.
Do you have an email list of prospects, or do you collect email addresses at all otherwise?
No, so the only emails I have is just from past customers.
Okay,
which is a lot, but
does everybody who fills out the contact form do that only when they're ready to buy, or do some people fill that out and then they haven't bought yet?
Yeah, they'll fill it out. Sometimes they just have questions.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty high percentage of people that fill it out are ready to buy.
Yeah.
They're kind of ready to make that step and purchase.
Yeah. Okay. So I think then definitely that you're, having something that would answer the questions kind of that somebody who's maybe not ready to buy and considering, different options, that this would be a really great service for them,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I will definitely implement that. And I like the fact of making it a spring, summer, fall guide
and that way,
as well. So it's fresh.
Yeah, right. And that makes it that it's something worth asking for, Sometimes that's the thing that people want to know. It's the prices, and and it makes sense because when people are in fact-finding mode, that's how they gauge stuff. We all and people often are afraid to give prices. And I think that it's something that I know for sure that every single person that has ever bought a bunk bed from you has gotten a price. And and they made the decision, right? So you can't not have the price, right? People kind of there's a little bit of fear in showing them the prices because that might scare them off or something. But the reality is they need to know it. And you need to, if it's more than, what they could get off the rack bunk beds for at Sears or somewhere, you need to be able to justify that and illustrate why somebody would pay this price for them, and what are the things that motivate them. And, really be really interesting too, to start to think about what if somebody really wanted to pimp their bunk beds, what would be the ultimate, Neiman Marcus does this whole thing with the Neiman Marcus catalog. They always have something completely outrageous in there, right? Like that's that you have the $100,000 bunk beds, or something that would be what would be the ultimate bunk beds, that's almost the notoriety of it in a way. It's the conversation, and that's something that would be, shared on social media, almost like what would be a sensation for the bunk beds, what would be the most amazing thing you could imagine for a bunk bed for kids? What's the age range of kids that have bunk beds, basically? What's the peak bunk bed zone?
The peak bunk bed zone is ages 6 up to probably 11. Around there.
And then they're ready for big people
still like them.
Right.
But it's families that typically have just had a child, and the other ones, they need to put them together in a room together, or they just need to save some space if they've got a small house kind of thing.
Did you ever see that Will Ferrell movie, The Step Brothers?
Where
they built the bunk beds?
Yes.
Oh, that's so
good.
funny.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was a great scene.
Yeah. But you start to think about, what that would look like, and I mean, it's interesting that there may be a really cool opportunity for you to almost like bunk bed conversions, where imagine that there might be a scenario, where that the teenagers wouldn't mind having the bunk beds if it was built into this like really that the space below becomes integrated with a workspace or a desk or a gaming nook kind of thing, or like that might be a really interesting opportunity for you too, is with all of the bunk beds, all the people that you've done bunk beds with, the bunk bed conversion process. If you thought about a way to as the second person in the bottom bunk moves on kind of thing, that now that you modularly can swap out the bottom bunk bed and do a conversion to a study space or a gaming space or a lounging space or a something like that, where you build in imagine if it was below built in with a the ultimate like gaming cubby.
I like
the bunk bed on top. That might be the kind of thing where that might open up the market, where it's not even necessarily that it's bunk beds that are for two people, but bunk beds that are just an elevated bed with something cool below.
Yeah, that's interesting, Dean. I would say probably, actually, it's been more lately, but the most popular style bed I'm still selling right now is a loft bed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have a bunk underneath.
Right.
And people, they're wanting desks underneath it, or a place that they can put a bean bag and make a board underneath for their kids or whatever. So that's becoming more and more popular these days. But I like your idea.
It might be an interesting thing of having, like, even I know like Seattle's a big gaming community. Like, I mean, could you imagine for teenagers the ultimate gaming setup?
Oh, see, that's really interesting. I love that idea. where I'm creating a real niche that's just for a gaming space underneath the loft bed.
Yes.
I really like that idea, and just really, like you said, an ultimate gaming bunk bed experience thing.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think it's pretty amazing that might be like a really great, I just think that bottom space, that loft bed, that bottom space, if you think about that module, that's where there might be some really cool niches, right? Like gaming could be one, but like a home theater kind of situation for teens. No, really, like where it's a little bit, where maybe the loft portion is a twin, but the lower portion is more like a the size of a full size kind of situation, but you've got a love seat down there, or double bean bags with imagine partnering with a home theater type of situation, right, where you get and the screens right now are just so inexpensive, but imagine something like that built in with a 50-inch 50-inch TV with all wired with surround sound, and so it's the gaming and home theater thing that would really become
that's great,
a luxury thing that wouldn't really add that much, because the components of it are not that expensive. Like you can get 50-inch TVs now for a few $100. But building it into the building the cabinetry around it,
Yeah.
Boy, I
like
just
you
think
said,
that
the
could
whole
be
luxury
the ultimate, the whole, like, the ultimate thing that would be really raise the cool factor for teenagers coming out of bunk beds, but the loft bed, even loft sounds cooler than bunk beds,
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, it does sound for older kids. That's good.
I think that, man, it's kind of exciting to think about those kind of things. But that kind of plan then that you have, that opens up for the other, that opens up for sharing that with people in other markets too, that becomes a national kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's good.
I love that idea. Or, even if you were to create the ultimate, like you think about gaming as one or entertainment as one, but, it could even, what other sort of niches could you do in that? What if it was, what would go into making the ultimate, study environment, like, for people, their motivations to get straight A's? What if it was the optimal, like, lighting situation for a workspace, and surround, with the sound, coupled with, introduction to focus at will, or a sound service that provides, a focused environment. But I imagine there's something about those kind of things with the soundscapes, with the, noise canceling, or the lighting, the oxygen, pumping oxygen, all the things. No, I mean, I'm being serious about the things that if you really took it to integrate all of the best known practices with and then coupling with, ergonomic chair for it, that you're showing it's like, the straight A loft bed,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and just with just the lighting alone, with all the LED stuff you can do now, That's a huge market there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that idea of the conversions, or just selling it as, just because I'm seeing a huge uptick in customers getting the loft beds.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of their thought process of they want to have a cool space underneath, to have kids study or hang out, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I can provide even a greater experience, say on this is the ultimate gaming or study or entertainment experience.
Yeah.
Just a great idea for a niche market.
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm.
Especially when you are, especially when you're partnering with other providers of the other components, like a local, electronics store or a game store, or even one of the game. It's interesting how, there's a lot of the gaming companies are based in Seattle, right? I mean, that's kind of a thing that, might be an interesting notoriety thing to partner with them to build the ultimate gaming bed setup,
I even, I can just see, those conferences, or they have those video game competitions or whatever.
Yeah.
What if I have one of my loft beds set up?
Yes.
There.
That's what I mean. It's like some of those companies.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. That would be fantastic, Yeah. That's like, some companies, they do things like, they'll get, custom choppers or motorcycle things, just, brand awareness type of things. But what if they just went and built the over the top, gaming setup in a bed, I mean, it's like, that's a pretty cool thing if it doesn't take up any more space than what, a twin bed setup would take in somebody's room, because most of the time that's the benefit of the loft bed is that you gain the floor space of it,
Mm-hmm. Right. What I like about this too, Dean, is we're looking at, if we're coming from a parent's perspective, what are they thinking? What do they want for their kids?
Right.
They want them to really enjoy the space. They're really excited about them having a new bed. Are the parents wanting them to do better in school and have a better study environment?
Yeah.
And ultimately, we're thinking about, okay, what questions are the parents asking in their mind? What do I want for the kids? What is that kind of the end result?
Well, what if think about a music studio too? Like if it was built below with a keyboard and recording studio equipment, that you could have a vocal booth right there, like all soundproofed and everything there, or a YouTuber one, a studio, a video. There's the ultimate YouTuber loft bed. So you could have built behind it the green screen or different background things that could come. I mean, this could be, I mean, that's really, there's so much creativity in that, of what could come from it. And those, I think, could really be things that then people would want to, that you could sell those plans to people locally, in local markets to actually build them and do them.
Yeah. And I think I guess that's where
I might like a podcaster one. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Imagine if I could have the podcaster set up. That would be so good. It's so funny, but you think,
yeah, that's good.
Seeing this little cockpit, it's almost like that dream space. Like if you've got you've got the 7 feet by 5 feet kind of thing, and you got that. Is kind of that cubic space there. Is what can you fill that space below the loft bed that really, it just happened, that's the thing, and the loft bed just kind of happens to come with it, I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is what could you really pimp out in a 7 by 5 by 4 36 inch or 40 inch width, right? Whatever that whatever that turns into, what could you really create as a dream space in that cubic space below the loft? Oh, and it's a bed, so now you've got room for it because it's also a bed. Yeah, it's interesting how this is going. I'm just thinking the same thing. Like you said, it's not really the bed anymore. It's about creating that space for their kids. Yeah. In their room. Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, almost if you imagine, the loft. I mean, when you look at, and that those modules, the modular things are almost like they can come in and out of it. That module, the lower module, when they're 6, can be a play station, their playing area with the lower things, or a learning center, where it's like getting them involved in fun, educational kind of learning things. And then when they turn 8, you slide that module out, and in goes another module once they kind of figure out what they're interested in. If they're musical, it gets a keyboard in there and some. Boy, I think, I like that. I think we've created a whole new. Too. That's what I'm saying. I think we've created a whole new category. Right now, it's just typically a one-time. Sell, unless they want me to do another piece of furniture in their house, or they know that I also build cabinetry. But I love that idea of being able to kind of grow with the child. Yeah, I think we've created a whole new category here. Yeah. I've never heard of anything like it, but it just makes so much sense the way that you, the way it happens now. And I would almost look to, almost like maximizing space kind of things. Like there's so many great things in innovations in the tiny home world, and in the Japanese like cube hotels that are just little pods, and all the things that are like where space is at a premium. Right. Yep. Like you've just got that. This could create somebody's, their whole world. It's a whole new, world of possibilities there. Yeah, which works great in my market because Seattle is typically, you've got, on the older part of Seattle, you got much smaller homes. Yeah. And things like that. So. Or a CrossFit. They need to maximize space. The CrossFit bunk, right? They could do their pull-ups and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. 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 Yeah, there's definitely a lot of avenues you could go for that. That's good. What do you think? We've spent the whole hour just fantasizing and coming up with some really cool things. But there's some actual, real practical things that are immediate action things that you could do too. But what's kind of What's your thoughts in summarizing here?
Yeah. So the biggest thing right now, one of the first things I need to do is come up with a pricing guide for my site, so people, when they can opt in and download a free PDF to get some more information, learn to get to trust me more, and then it's a more cheese, less whiskers type experience, where they don't have to email me or fill out the contact form and then kind of go back and forth stuff. So that's really good. And then just looking into using the loft beds and creating more of what kind of dream space, like you said, dream space experience can you create underneath the loft? For gaming, entertainment, study, even YouTubing. So that's a great, and I guess what you're saying is I can offer that as a higher price point.
Yeah, of course.
It's more of a luxury item rather than just selling my standard beds. This is more of an experience. Yes. I'm thinking that's where you're going at right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
That's really exciting. That could be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, right? Like, talk about creativity and what a great thing. And once you build that plan, there was an interesting thing a few years ago. I think if you do a YouTube search on the Emperor workstation, there was like the ultimate. There was the ultimate kind of programmer, workstation that was like this totally zero gravity ergonomic chair, but then it had a tail that kind of like a scorpion that came around and had 3 screens in front of you, and you could, you're totally immersive in the whole environment there. But they were like, $20,000 or something for this workstation. But I think, you start to think about something like that, where something like these dream stations that we're talking about, if you had, it all kind of built in, where every kid right now just dreams of being a YouTuber, but if you had like the studio for the ultimate studio setup with the webcams and the lighting and the everything kind of built in, what a cool thing that could be, green screen background and
yes, I love that idea. Yep, because that's so true these days. All the kids are wanting to be YouTube.
Yeah, they want to, and there's never been a better time where they can kind of rule the world from their bedroom,
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's great. Very good.
It. Well, I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. I mean, it's now you got me thinking I might want one of these. Do you make king size?
I do king size. Yeah.
Maybe I could get a king size loft bed for mine and put a little podcast studio in there.
That's great.
I love it. On hydraulics, so we can raise it up.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, man. Well, I really enjoyed that, and keep me posted, because I'd love to see what you're up to, what comes out of it.
I will do that. Yeah. Thanks so much, Dean. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Ben.
Talking through this. Appreciate it.
Good talk to you soon. Bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
And there we have it. I think, and more think about it, I want one of these podcaster bunk beds for myself. I think that would be cool. It's really fun to start thinking about what is the real desires that people have. You know, we were having a lot of fun talking about and using our creativity for it, but there's a real serious element to it that could transfer to what you're doing. Is what is the real desire that people have around kind of the product or the service that you offer, and how could you really go above and beyond what they're really looking for to what would be amazing, right? What would be, we talk about it in Profit Activator 5, what would be a dream come true for your clients? And so what would be a dream come true for parents thinking about creating a a great environment for their kids or their teenagers? What if you could package up all of those dreams in a bunk bed to help them with whatever they're aspiring to, whether it's to get straight A's and be the class valedictorian, have the ultimate studying workstation, or to be a pro gamer, or to be a YouTuber, or, whatever it is, there's an opportunity there to really think about what are the main drivers that people have around what it is you do. So I hope you got some inspiration for that. And it's fun to let your mind kind of run wild sometimes and think about crazy ideas. And some of those may turn into something that could be a blockbuster for you. So there we have it. If we want to continue the conversation here, best thing to do is go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com. You can download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book. You can, if you'd like to, be a guest on More Cheese, Less Whiskers, and we can hatch some evil schemes for your business. Just click on the Be a Guest link, and that will take you right there. One thing that's really helpful, if you'd like to see a really nice video all about the 8 profit activators that help you kind of get in that mindset, you can go to breakthroughdna.com, and right there's a whole video that explains all of the 8 profit actors. It's a live presentation, and I think you will enjoy that. So that's it for this week. Have a great week, and I will talk to you next time.